Good morning, everybody. Just wanted to show you guys now my little Kishu Mandarin graft here is doing really well. It's the tongue and whip graft that I used and just lined up that outer edge cambium layer and stuck it under some tape for a few weeks and then under a dome, and now it's doing really well, starting to push out some new leaf growth. As well as this guy that I grafted on here, starting to show a little bit of bud swelling. This is also a Kishu Mandarin that I grafted to a lemon tree stalk. This is just grafted to a normal Meyer lemon. The goal here is to see, other than on the trifoliate rootstock, how a Meyer lemon, let it get bigger and bigger. Because the trifoliate is a dwarf. Sorry, that's what I was going for. The trifoliate, this guy should keep this Kishu Mandarin around 4 to 6 feet tall, like maximum in its life, and then it should just bush out a bit. This, being on a Meyer lemon stalk, should be able to get, 15, 20, 30 feet tall like a normal citrus tree, but be a little more disease resistant. This was a mandarin tree that a friend of mine had, part of a mandarin tree rather, that we took some cuttings and grafted to another rootstock because their tree somehow broke its graft. I believe the union got an infection, and just over time the fungal infection ate the graft union, and then it finally just broke. So this whole tree looks like this. But keeping it alive in a glass of water, it's actually seeming to help. I mean, it hasn't dropped any leaves yet, and if it starts to grow roots like I'm hoping, then that'll be even better, because this is just an experiment, but trying to see if we can root this thing. That would really make me happy. And all my other little cuttings here, my trifoliate rootstocks. This in particular is the flying dragon citrus. It's my most favorite citrus because of its name, and also, like, just look at it. It just looks mean, just thorny, and like it almost dares you to touch it. The trifoliate. It really roots rather easy too. Look at that root callus. These guys were just basically in a bucket of sand with a lid over the top of it for like, I don't know, 3 weeks. Maybe 3 weeks. Yeah. And now they're all in here just barely root calloused out, and they're starting to grow roots. This guy's doing amazing over here. That guy rooted about 3-4 weeks ago, and he's doing well too. I can't wait. I'm gonna have so many rootstocks to graft to. Our improved Meyer lemon. Another flying dragon rootstock that's growing here. He's doing all right. He's got some new growth coming out. Let's bring that a little closer, why don't we? Kind of see how it just grows out already curly and thorny like that. I love it. I mean, sure, they're soft right now, but whew, these things make a great hedgerow if you're trying to keep something out. Just plant yourself a bunch of flying dragon citrus. That'll do it. This guy's doing okay. He kind of had a little bit of an issue where I believe it just got dried out in the sun, and then it needed to get, a little more moisture. I don't know if the roots actually died or not, so basically I've just been keeping the soil kind of moist without going overboard, hopefully, and it seems to be recovering. It dropped the leaves, but it's not browning out, so that means it's still alive, similar to this guy. He's wilting, but by golly, he's still alive. He's trying. Let's put this cover back over this Kishu Mandarin. We want to make sure we don't let these guys dry out. Even though he's growing, he could still dry out really easy. We don't want that to happen. By the way, this heater is not on and never is on anymore now. It's because it's too hot. I just use it for circulation. Occasionally I turn the fan on. Oh, I love this. These banana tree leaves are just beautiful and gigantic. Grow your food organically, people. It just looks so much happier and healthier when you do. That's just, oh, look at that. Compared to my arm. That takes up my whole arm. This is my double Mahoy banana tree. I also have a blue Java ice cream that I planted in my front yard. And then I had a dwarf Cavendish, but I sold it. I have a bit that I was trying to root from it, but we'll see how that works out. I'm not really sure. Oh, it looks like this is gonna root. Swelling up right there like it's getting a little root bud forming, so that's good. And the leaves haven't died, they're still growing. That means that that's still alive, so that's good. This is Costa Rican red dragon fruit. It's one of the blue cacti, they call it. It puts out its own sunblock coating. It's almost like a blue frost cover. It's really cool looking. I've got several of those. Costa Rican red, Arcadia red, and a couple others. One of my, I believe this to be condor, but it says that it's no ID because I got it that way without a label. But I believe it's condor because I have another condor that grows exactly like it. As long as you give it good nutrients, they get fairly good size, but they never get like really fat like the regular, you know, Vietnam white dragon fruit do. This one just gets eaten by slugs a lot. I kind of use it as my sacrificial. Whenever slugs come in, I try to get them to go to that one, or I kill the slugs, of course. But growing organically and not using chemicals, it's really hard to just kill all the pests without also damaging your crops. So I'm excited for this guy to keep going and going. I'm going to be growing Kishu mandarins off it in no time, probably next year. This year it'll just put out lots of branch growth and get bigger and establish itself, because this is attached to an established rootstock. I got this as a flying dragon trifoliate rootstock. Like really well rooted too, really well rooted. The roots go basically to the bottom of the bucket already. It was in one of those tall fig root cutting rooting planters, like just, you know, like 2 feet tall in a 4x4 inch pot. So it's really well established, which will just be good for the cutting that's grafted to it. That'll just mean that the cutting will grow faster, as opposed to like this one that's grafted on here. Yes, it will grow, but it's going to grow much slower because the improved Meyer lemon cutting that it's grafted to is, you know, rooted but not super well established. Similar to this guy, they were taken off of the same tree and rooted around the same time, and this one fell behind because it had some root rot from the brand new roots, but it's recovering nicely, and we're going to have that turn into a full improved Meyer lemon tree. Propagation. That orchid. I don't put my orchids in soil. That's just all pea gravel. That's all it is. And then I do come by to make sure that I dump out excess water that doesn't need to be in there, because it does get lots of excess. Let's do it nice and slow. My orchid's happy a little bit. The leaves, these were, I brought this out here because it was dying inside my house, and ever since I brought it out here, these have started to grow again. I'm sure I'm not doing it anywhere near proper. I'm sure there's a lot of orchid growers out there that are cringing at what I'm doing here, but it works for me, and this orchid is coming back to life, believe it or not. It was dying and turning yellow and drying out, but instead now it's actually growing new leaves and getting a little bit bigger, and these leaves are they're less flimsy, they're getting their stiff back. I'm hoping that they will actually become like they're supposed to again and get hard like they were before, because they used to poke straight out to the side before it started to die, and I brought it out here and now it's healing. So we'll see. More to come on that too. One of my other projects I got coming up here soon is I'm going to be just doing a lot of grafting. I'll do a whole video where I show you guys how I use my grafting tool and my tape and all that, and just how I actually just do a graft, because I believe that's a skill that everybody should know. And there's cute little tools that they sell on Amazon for really cheap that literally basically does the grafting for you. All you do is make a cut, like with a set of scissors, and it's great. It just works. It works wonderfully. That's how I did this one. That's how I did that one. Just, yeah. For now, though, we're just waiting for some of these rootstocks to root. I have some of my tomato suckers rooting. A bunch of my crotons are growing over there. Market season started. I got new blackberry varieties that are thornless blackberries. Some of my dwarf tangerines and my Meyer lemons are growing really well. Gonna have lots of new things at the market this next week. It's gonna be great. Thanks for checking this out. If you guys enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Let me know what you think, or if you got other ideas and topics you want me to cover. just write it out in the comments. I'd love to cover some other stuff. I basically try to grow everything, and if you have something that you have trouble growing, or you want to know how I'm growing certain things in my area, or whatever, anything, just write it down in the comments. I'd love to see. Thanks.